We have the First Amendment. It protects our right both to create adult content, to create what people call pornography or sexually explicit media, but also our right to consume it. In 2022, a legislator in Louisiana, in conjunction with a sort of faith-based group and a consortium of businesses that are going to profit off of age verification, puts forth a bill saying, in order to access an adult site in Louisiana, you need to basically use our digital ID, right? Which means that you're going to scan your ID, you're going to scan your face, it's going to prove that you were over 18. On paper, it sounds pretty reasonable, right? And I think that still, if you talk to people and you say, well, what about age verification? Should kids be able to access porn online? And everyone says no. It's not for kids. It's adult content. It's for adults by adults. Kids shouldn't have access to it. We card them in a liquor store. We card them if they were to try to buy this in, a Playboy in a Barnes & Noble or something like that. We should be doing it online. And theoretically, that makes sense. And I think a lot of people agree with that. And the reality is it's sort of much more complicated. Doing it online risks a lot of surveillance. You can be hacked. It's cumbersome. You have to do it. It takes 5 minutes to go through it. Most people don't want to do it. So this bill goes forward. It gets passed. We sort of watch it. FSC has a legislative committee. We talk about it every week. We sort of watch it gets passed. In January of 2023, it goes into effect. And Pornhub, who at the time was sort of under attack for lots of other things by the faith-based right, says, you know what, we disagree with this, but because they have the technology, because Louisiana has a digital ID, we're going to try it. We're going to figure out what happens. And they comply. And within a few weeks, you see headlines that Pornhub has complied with age verification, and I think that a lot of people on the right think, oh, this is the way forward. We've succeeded, right? We've figured it out. Pornhub was the baddest guy on the block, the one that they hate the most. These are sort of Pornhub laws and often are referred to as such. And so Pornhub complies. We've done it. We've done age verification. And suddenly you see, a number of other states introduce bills. So we got, I think in that first year, maybe 7 other states introduced bills. Louisiana, Utah, Montana, Texas, Virginia, North Carolina, Arizona had one that got defeated, but you start to see this populate. And then this year, in 2024, those laws go into effect and Pornhub starts pulling out of these states, right? As do adult businesses, because what happens is when they try to do age verification, the vast majority of consumers won't do it. So you attempt to do age verification, you put in the process or you do that, and what Pornhub sees is 80% of the people leave immediately, right? They don't want to do it. Other companies have seen 95, 97, 99% of the people won't do it. And what you're left with is very, very few people willing to go through your system and a tremendously expensive system. So if you're doing age verification, it costs maybe $1.50 per verification. And you have to do that multiple times, sometimes every time that they come to the site. That costs millions and millions of dollars. And so what we start to see is that age verification really isn't about creating some simple system. It's about creating onerous regulations that make it impossible for adult businesses to exist. What happens with age verification is that your traffic disappears and your cost for actually operating it goes so sky high that you are operating at a deficit. And then you're also risking the people who do verify, you're risking their privacy. And nobody wants their employer to know that they were looking at bound gangbangs, the previous night. People's sexuality is tremendously sensitive. So what we see is, companies start blocking states, they start geo-blocking states, and the conservatives say, yes, we've won. This is great. I hope that Pornhub, we said this was about children, but really, we don't think anybody should access this content. And so what we see is sort of the beginning of a backdoor censorship campaign, a campaign to sort of put adult businesses out of business, the same way that the government was attempting to put adult businesses out of business 30 years ago when we started.